It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we have 3 beers from Sainsbury's to show you, and they're for £6. I've just done another video on this very recently on lagers, and I made a little kind of announcement in the lager video that actually Sainsbury's don't just have the 3 beers to choose from, 3 lagers. They have 3 really good wheat beers to choose from as part of that 3 for £6 deal. And these are the beers. So Blue Moon, Belgian White. Now for me, this is a staple beer that is readily available. That's the word for this beer. It may not be the greatest Belgian wit. In fact, it's made by an American company. But it's accessible more or less anywhere. Next beer is from the oldest brewery in the world, Weihenstephaner, and this is their Hefe Weissbier. This is 5.4% ABV, and I just adore this beer. Here's the bottle cap. And not too far behind in terms of quality is Franziskaner Weissbier. 5% ABV. Not so readily available as it used to be. In fact, I can go to my big Tesco now, the large Tesco Extra, where I usually shop, and it's touch and go whether I can find them. And if you buy it in Morrison's, there's no deal at the moment. It's like £2.50 a bottle for 1 bottle. I'll get back to the Franziskaner story in a moment, but I want to get these beers out into a glass and see what we get. Let's start off with a Blue Moon. There's the bottle cap. This one is the ABV on this beer is 5.4% ABV. So if you're quite new to beer, I'll touch on this subject very quickly. It's the reason why I'm doing this. This wasn't covered in the lagers video. This is the reason why I'm doing 2 separate videos for the 3 for £6 deal, is that I feel like if you're in the mood for a Weissbier, look no further than Sainsbury's. They've got 3 brilliant beers here, wheat beers, white beers, for £6. And I really thought it deserved to be covered in the video. There is a slight difference as well, again, for the newbies in beer. There's a slight difference between Belgian wheat and German Weiss. They both mean white. White is Weiss in Germany, wheat is white in Belgium. But they're slightly different in that a wheat beer can be flavoured with, say, orange peel or lemon peel, whereas German Weiss beers are flavoured by that yeast. Let's get the Franziskaner out. I quite like these glasses. They qualify as a Weissbier glass, but it's got a handle. Works a treat for me, and they don't have those, well, there's a tiny little bit of etching in the bottom of the bottle, but bottom of the glass even. We'll get back to that. If you notice then, all the beers are nice and hazy, different to lager. Weissstephaner. Hefe Weissbier. Look at that for a beautiful beer. Right. So let's start off then with Blue Moon. Smaller bottle, 330 milliliter. One finger whitehead. Aroma. Nice and hazy, kind of amber hazy colour. Lots of orange peel. Lots of orange peel here. And then that sort of kind of like dry, slightly kind of farmhouse, Belgian-esque aroma to it. Lemon and a zesty lime. Smells good. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Beautiful. Still got my trusty RSJs in place, supporting the walls here. Doing the beer review in a construction site. Did you hear that crack then? Did you hear that? Things are warming up, surely. Expansion due to warmth. Not the walls are about to fall down on me. Oh. Nice that. Very drinkable, very refreshing. Nicely carbonated. Slightly dry, crisp flavour to it. Or crisp feel to it, I should say. Orange peel. Peppery, spicy, bitter, beautiful beer, absolutely beautiful beer. Surprised how much I like Blue Moon, actually. I haven't been for a couple of years, but I used to go to Tenby a lot in West Wales, and a lot of the pubs in Tenby, on a beautiful sunny day, they'd serve Blue Moon on keg, and they put a slice of orange in it. Ah, absolutely stunning. I'm going to drink all the beers and then rate them. Because I don't think I've ever put a Belgian white wit next to a Weissbier before. Next beer, Franziskaner. Love this beer. This is probably I'd probably buy the Weihenstephaner more than I normally would, but my Sainsbury's is like 9 miles away, whereas my Tesco is 3 miles away. So I generally nip to Tesco to buy myself some Franziskaner. I think Weissbier is my favourite style of beer. Aroma. Banana, cloves, spices, beautiful. Coriander, spices, and lavender, and it's beautiful. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Stunning. Stunning beer. I was just savouring that then for a moment. Apologies for the silence. I was just really enjoying the beer. It's a lot more carbonated than the Blue Moon. It's a natural carbonation coming from the yeast in the bottle. It's bottle conditioned beer. This one's quite a carbonated beer, quite a carbonated version of the beer. It's creamy, it's rich, it's got a lovely mouthfeel. Banana, cloves, spices come from that yeast. It's amazing. Yeast is such a wonderful thing, but there's a yeast strain, Weissbier, a yeast strain that they use to produce this just wonderful banana-y, and it gives esters of banana and clove. Some people mistakenly think when they drink a Weissbier that they're drinking actual banana in the beer, but it's not. It's all from the yeast. Just fantastic. I just wonder what it must have been like hundreds of years ago, stumbling across this yeast strain, that taking that first sip of the beer when it's tasting of bananas and clove, and just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It's one of my favourite beer styles. Going quickly back to the story, Franziskaner used to be really accessible. I mean, you could pop down Home Bargains, pick up bottles of Franziskaner up down there. You could buy it in Tesco's and Morrison's, and all of the supermarkets sold Franziskaner. But I just find these days you can still accessibly find it. It's still available, but the price is creeping up all of the time. I find the price is just creeping with Franziskaner. But on a 3 for £6 deal, £2 a bottle, I can live with that. See, now Morrison's are trying to sell you a bottle for £2.75 on its own with no deal. So if you're buying 3 bottles of that, you know, you're spending nearly £9, aren't you? £8.25 on 3 bottles of Franziskaner, which is probably worth it anyway. But when you can buy the same beer for £6, you're saving yourself £2.25 per 3 bottles. It's worth it. But you're having to start to look for these deals now. You're having to start to like maybe travel out a bit further. The other beer I treat myself once a month to, I always do it on payday, is that I pop to Majestic Wine and I buy myself a box of Paul and a Weissbier, £22 for 12 bottles, which works out at £24 for 12 bottles, works out at £2 a bottle. Again, same price as the Franziskaner. I'm happy to pay £2 a bottle for Weissbier. This beer, on the other hand, I find this beer simply stunning. From the world's oldest brewery, there's documents mentioning this brewery from 1040, not 2025, 10. So you're talking about nearly in 15 years time, this brewery will be 1,000 years old. 1,000 years old. I hope they have some kind of mega. I'll be 15 years time. I'll be 61 years old if I'm still alive. 61. I hope that they have some kind of mega party to celebrate this brewery's 1,000th year on the planet. And I'd love to be at that party. I'd love to be at Weihenstephaner when that happens. That would be great. But here's the beer. One Finger Whitehead. Good levels of carbonation. There's no documents to say that this specific beer was brewed 1,000 years ago. It's just, this is their best-selling beer. Lovely aroma, banana. Again, it just got this a little bit more of a, it's just a little bit more rounded than the Franziskaner. A little bit more pungent in the aroma, a little bit more kind of rounded and yeah, pungent. It's blowing off some more fumes into the sky a bit more. Smells great. Cheers. It's a stunning beer. You actually, the finish of the beer is even better than the beginning of the beer. You actually get that lovely wheaty, biscuity taste. Wheaty biscuitiness coming through. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Really, really, really lovely. But the beginning of the beer, the beginning flavour of even the thing with Weissbier, fruit flies, blooming love it. The fruit flies go absolutely nuts for it. It's just a bit better than Franziskaner. It has the same clove, spices, pepperiness, banana flavour, but everything's slightly more amplified. Only slightly, but it's more of an amplified flavour. It's like buying a better speaker. You can hear it a little bit better, can't you? A better speaker. But even being a little bit better is totally worth it, isn't it? Especially for the same price. Let's put these two great Weissbiers side by side. I just tasted the Weihenstephaner. Oh, my tennis that I can't do it. My flipping elbows. All this work has damaged my arm. Yeah, the Frankie. Its nickname, Franziskaner. The Frankie is. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful beer, but it's not quite. It's not quite on the same level as Weihenstephaner. This is great. Yeah, just a little bit more clinical in every single department. It's a bit more creamier. It's got a bit more mouthfeel. It's got a bit more flavour. Let's try the Blue Moon now. Drinking all that Weissbier. Let's put a Belgian wit in the mix. Let's get in with this. See, now that's just as brilliant in its own way. What's different about this is you're actually getting actual orange peel, and you can taste it in the beer. It's a little bit more drinkable, a little bit more refreshing than the creamier Weissbiers from Germany. But again, it's just subtle differences here. A little bit more white pepper. A little bit more drinkability. A little bit more of that citrus, orange and lemon. A beautiful beer in its own right. So I'm going to rate them. Let's start with Blue Moon, where we started with this video. A class beer. Have a look at it. You know, I know, if I was being a complete beer snob here, if I was being a complete beer snob, I'd be talking about Molson Coors owning the company and, giving all the money to the big conglomerates and whatnot. But do you know what? That's probably all behind me now. That whole kind of like, okay, if you stuck this is better than Hoegaarden. I'm not really a fan of Hoegaarden. I find Hoegaarden a bit too, pardon me. I find Hoegaarden a bit too run-of-the-mill. Blue Moon has a quality to it. It really does. It has a quality to it that And it's funny because I never really pick it up, in all honesty. I never really, like, I tell you I buy this beer on keg in a pub in Tenby. I do. But do I pick it up in a supermarket? Probably not. And I probably should be picking it up a little bit more. Because it's a good beer. It's a good beer, it really is. It may not be the best wit beer in the world. May not be. But the fact that it's accessible and it's cheap is, I think, where we're at for 2025. Everybody's looking at the latest interest rates and they're going down. You know, we're going to save a few pennies so we got some more beer money. We're all in the same boat, aren't we? Started a project here and I've like burnt through my tiny bit of savings that I had, and I'm like having to live with steel stuck in my house for a month until I get paid again. You know, we're all in the same boat. You watch these programs, these grand design programs, don't you, where they're borrowing like £600,000. It's like, it's dreamland, isn't it? It's dreamland. Most of us live in a world of, you know, we save up, we do a bit, we save up, we do a bit, you know. My rating, I think it's, do you hear that crack then? I think it's just I think it's just the house warming up in the sunshine. But you know when you got acros up in your house? Let me turn this. When you got acros up in your house, you're like, this thing's saving my life. Every little crack, you're like, blimey, what's going on around here then? I like Blue Moon enough. It's a run-of-the-mill, pick-it-up beer that I like enough for a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 is a very, very fair score for this beer. Franziskaner. As I mentioned, my weekly driver for Weissbier. A little bit sweet compared to the Weihenstephaner, but loads of banana-y goodness in there. I like that enough to give it an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Weihenstephaner Weissbier. £2 a bottle. £3 bottles for £6 in Sainsbury's as of May 2025. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous Weissbier. Look at this. Smells good. Tastes incredible. I like it enough to give it, I'm going to say a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. I hope you like this video. If you haven't seen the 3 bottles of my favourite Sainsbury's lager for £6, please go and watch that. But this is an alternative. I got 4 bottles of ales as well from Sainsbury's for £7, which I've just posted, or about to post, if I haven't already. Your Timmy Taylors, that sort of thing, your Shepherd Neame 1698s, your St Austell Proper Jobs, those sorts of more traditional bottles ales. I've just filmed a video on that, so look out for that. But this one was my favourite, I think. As much as I love lager these days, I love a Weissbier. I just wish I had a Sainsbury's closer to me. My Sainsbury's is just a little bit too far out. You know, I gotta drive past Steelworks and I gotta go past gypsy camps, and it's just a bit like, oh, I don't want to break down round here. Sort of like Newport Road, Cardiff. Like it's just hard to get. It's all like lanes, not lanes, but it's all a bit laney to get to, it's all a bit difficult to get to, and I just don't bother. You know, when you can jump on a dual carriageway and in 3 minutes time you can end up in a Tesco. That's where I generally go, because it's, I mean, we're all a bit lazy, aren't we? Thanks for watching. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom, cheers.